My name is Ivy Mae Bailey. My favorite animal in the entire world is horses. The horse I ride, her name is Cookie, but her full name is Bingo Cookie Commander.
My name is Waverly Bailey, and I am Ivy's mom. I always suspected autism, but I always questioned, even with the diagnostician. I said, do you see any signs of high-functioning autism? And she said no. And I knew, in the pit of my stomach, I knew that something was missing. She came home from gym one day, and she was crying, and she said, Mom, the coach got mad at me because she told me I wasn't trying hard enough. And she told me to get my legs straight, and I couldn't do it. And so I took her to an orthopedic. Her orthopedic immediately said, I want you to go to a neurologist. And I said, why would we go to a neurologist because she can't get her legs straight? He immediately said, I will do the testing, but I can tell you right now, she has cerebral palsy. A year after we went to the neurologist finally said, I want to test her for autism. And he said, I'm seeing more signs of it now that I've gotten to know her. Because she's high functioning, most people don't pick up on stuff until they spend time with her. She gets headaches pretty much daily. She has a cyst on her brain. And so it was just always, you're gonna wear a helmet. I mean, that's part of your uniform with English riding, you wear a helmet. Western riders should be wearing helmets every time they get on a horse. But I will make it look cool, and that's what I told her. And so that's whenever I started looking for, to find something that we could do. So that we found one. And this one lady in Arizona, she makes them. She'll make them to whatever color you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's pretty neat.
So how many coaches did you go through before Einat?
We went through 3. All of them loved Ivy. Everyone loves Ivy because she is very sweet, and they see that she really, she loves horses. So they all love her. But do they have the patience? That's a whole nother question. Do they see her actual potential? And Einat is the first person who ever saw that and believed that it could happen.
My name is Einat Talmon. I am from Israel. I've been here 15 years. I've been around horses ever since I remember myself. Grew up in a small community, what we call kibbutz in Israel. I remember myself shoveling horse manure since I was very little. 15 years I've been here in the United States. Training horses and training riders is what I've been doing for the last 15 years over here, and before then I've done it at home. Ever since I released from the army in Israel, that's what I've been doing. Where I met Ivy was in the barn where she started her 4-H. I had to take my business somewhere else to where I met Ivy in the second time, and that's where we actually reconnected and started pushing towards this.
I'm really nervous to be in front of a crowd because, one, I don't like to be in front of a lot of people and talk or do anything. I get nervous, I don't know why. And then they're just watching me, and they're just watching me. The best trainer that I've ever had is Miss Enoch, because she's taught me more in 6 weeks than I've probably learned in 3 years or however long I've been riding. Without her, I would have never been able to go to a show, and without her I wouldn't be able to compete in the rodeo because I don't think any other trainer could do what she's done to help me. My favorite competition that's going to be inside the rodeo is going to be the reining, because you get to go faster, and it's hard because you have to memorize a pattern. It's different every time you would go to a competition. So it's challenging because I have to memorize it. I'm really excited for the rodeo because I think that me and Cookie will have an awesome time.
I knew that she wanted to show, so I basically thought I'm going to give her the opportunity. There's a challenge there because we only had 6 weeks. Actually, we are rolling to the rodeo today. We've been working 6 weeks, and that's a challenge. To work with someone that I never worked before, with some learning disabilities, I would say, and physical disabilities, it's just more challenging, but it's also a lot more rewarding. Tuesday morning, I'm getting to the barn. We've been there until almost 2 o'clock in the morning, just making sure our horse is looking good, slinky on Cookie, you know, don't get dirty. I'm getting there on Tuesday morning. I see one of Cookie's eyes this big, and I was like, oh my God, what happened to her? She hurt herself. And then I come to look at her, and both of her eyes are huge. Her eyes were all puffy. She had some kind of reaction or something. We came here and her eyes were so big, and I had to get the vet. At that moment, I was like, oh my God, we worked so hard to get over here. We have done everything we could. Our horse is looking good. My student's looking good, and now I have a horse that I'm not sure going to be able to show. How do I even tell the girl? I'm about to break my dream, I'm about to break her dream. I called the vet, and asking her about, I said, do you think that this horse could show? The vet came, we gave her some medications, figured out that it wasn't as severe. And I remember the vet said, yeah, definitely you could show her. And I remember her telling me, the more ice you're gonna put on her and the more compresses you're gonna put on her, the better it will be. But I have to tell you, her eyes looked so big, I wasn't sure she's gonna be able to show. And so, it's all end up great. And thank God we didn't have to ride her, because I really didn't want to ride her that day. It was scary, I gotta tell you. I'm glad it's all end up great. Here we come to Wednesday morning. This is the big day. This is the day we've been all waiting for. This is the day we've been all working very hard for. Ivy going to show, the first class was Western Pleasure, and then also she had to do the Western Horsemanship, and then the reining. The reining was the last class that I entered them.
When I first went into the arena, I was really, really nervous, and I felt like everyone was staring at me, but it made me really nervous. I was really excited. I think being really nervous made me even more excited.
Watching Ivy made my heart stop for a moment. She surpassed any expectations that I had. It was beautiful, and I was very proud of her.
Whenever they called me in the middle of the arena inside Western Pleasure, I was just thinking, oh, I'm not going to place at all because Cookie's not a Western Pleasure horse. And then I heard them say my number. I'm like, that's not me. And then I heard my two best friends, Miss Einat and my mom, all yelling and clapping, and I'm like, wait a second. And then they said it, and I heard it, and I'm like, oh, wow. And then whenever they called out the overalls, whenever they said me inside fourth, I was really surprised about that. And I was just standing there because we never practiced for me walking up to get my ribbon, so I was just standing there. Then I heard Miss Einat saying, Ivy, go get your ribbon. And I looked, and then she was pointing to the other judge standing there holding my ribbon. And so I walked over there, and then as I walked out, I saw Miss Einat crying. I knew that she was really happy.
You see?
Yeah, man.
I have no words. I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it. She worked hard. She deserved it. They both looked really good. Obviously, I'm thrilled to get fourth in this class with this horse. That's tough. She looked awesome. The announcers start announcing the numbers and the places, and there's like 3 or 4 judges. I think the first time she was the 5th place under one judge. Under the second judge she was 4th, and under the third judge she was 4th, and overall she got 4th. And I just started crying because I'm gonna start crying right now. Getting my little reining horse with a person who rode only 6 weeks to 4th place in the pleasure, I was like ecstatic. I couldn't talk, It's that moment that you worked so hard for. My student got 4th. out of 14 with my little reining horse. If that's how she did in the pleasure, I mean, I can only hope for the reining because that's why we came for. But you know, knowing that she got a ribbon after 6 weeks, that's it. You did it. You worked so hard, girl, and you deserved it. And she looked good. And then we had the Western horsemanship, which, you know, we didn't do so well. I think Ivy looked really good in every class that she went in. She presented herself and me and my business very well. You know, only me sitting there knowing this girl only been with me for 6 weeks, and this girl got disabilities that you don't even know. But anyway, not going into that, here comes the reining. As she got into the arena and started walking, when she made her way into the center, and then she started her circles, and her circles looked beautiful. She cruised it around, I'm yelling to her, I'm like, you're looking good, you keep going. And she takes that leg off and boom, that horse just flying knee change and the crowd goes up. It was just like a dream come true. And she comes to the last stop and she get out of the arena, and I am proud as I can be. As she got into the arena and started walking, when she made her way into the center, my Cookie, feeling the nerves, kind of did the Cookie thing, and she backed up. She started backing up instead of doing her spins. And I remember telling her, if Cookie starts backing up or acting up, turn her, get her into the turn. The spins, the turnarounds were the first maneuvers that they had to do. Cookie started backing up. In the reining, by the reining rule book, if you back up more than 4 steps, you zero. You zero the pattern, you zero completely. It's not a zero in a maneuver. I mean, I kind of understood, as soon as Cookie started backing up, I remember screaming at her, just turn around, turn around. When she tried to turn her around, the mare did 4 more steps. We already were out. If she wouldn't go backwards and her pattern would start the way it was supposed to start with the turnarounds, I have no doubt in my mind she would bring the buckle home. To me, she won it. I was happy because as they call the numbers and Ivy's number didn't come up, a lot of people around me asked me, how come Ivy didn't get anything? And I told them, I said, the rules are the rules. Ivy broke the pattern before she even started the pattern. I went back and looked at the video and I could confirm that, you know, that's what got her out. Knowing that this is the problem, for me it was a great thing because I know what to do for next shows. This is one thing that Cookie does, you know, Cookie feels the stress and Cookie reacts. Cookie knows where she's at. I call her a goat. She's my goat. It was still great. I mean, the whole pattern was really good pattern. That's a small mistake that I think I know how to fix.
That was the fastest I've ever done my spins on Cookie. I think it's because we were outside of a big arena. Cookie was the only one. And so whenever I started doing the spin, she just did it. And she went really fast to me. I got dizzy because of how fast we were going because I never practiced going that fast. It was really fun to do my spins like that because that was the fastest I've ever done it. And it was also hard to sit inside the seat because of how fast she was going. Next year in the rodeo, I'm gonna fix sitting in the saddle better for my spins and finding my middle better and working on me not getting so nervous in the middle and to not back up like 7 steps or for a horse to get antsy. I hope next year I'll place inside of the reining because that was my favorite event of all of it. Maybe I could get the buckle because Miss Einat said next year we're gonna bring home the buckle. So I think maybe we could, but if not, that's okay. I was really happy whenever I got to ride Cookie because to me, she's the best horse inside the entire world.
you.